Testing, testing. Action 3, 2, 1. Just adjusting the sound levels there. Hi. Okay, I realize there's a bit of a time gap there. Well, it's kind of a long story. I'll explain it as briefly and to the point as I can. Well, for a period of about 2 months after I got back from my Toronto trip, Mindy had been seeing a lot of an old friend of hers by the name of Mike, and I didn't really like that because she was spending almost all of her time with him and very little, if any, time with me. It was pissing me off a lot, and I was quite depressed for a while, thinking like, oh, afraid that she was sleeping with him and afraid she was gonna leave me for him and all this stuff. He was an old friend of hers from about 5 years ago. They'd been out of touch for 4 years and just got back in touch, and like were spending every single waking moment together, and it was driving me nuts. Anyway, Mindy and I had many screaming arguments over it, and consequently got evicted from our apartment. We were evicted on July 31st, at which point we moved in with Mike in his apartment. His apartment is way over on the other side of the city from where we were, so we stayed there. I figured, okay, fine. Let them have their fill of each other, then hopefully they'll get sick of each other, and there you go, you know. And lo and behold, right from the first day we moved in, Mindy and Mike were constantly at each other's throats, so I secretly began making plans to move out. We put most of our stuff from the apartment, like our furniture and things, in a storage facility, a U-Haul storage facility. It was good, it was insured against any kind of accident or mishap. And the remainder of the stuff, like our clothes and utensils and video equipment and stuff, we took with us to Mike's place. Anyway, things weren't working out, so I secretly made plans to move out, hopefully with Mindy. I began looking for places, looking in the classifieds, looking in the renter's guide, looking for a place to move in. See, what the plan was originally was a while back, about 2 weeks prior to moving in, Mike had suggested that the three of us get a house together and like split the rent 3 ways, which I wasn't too keen on because I didn't like him at all and I did not want to live with him. But anyway, the eviction came about and it seemed we had no choice. So we looked at a couple of houses, the three of us, me, Mindy, and Mike. I don't know, the houses we looked at were kind of junky, you know. Not only that, they were way too small. And I couldn't even stand up in the basement, and like, I was promised the basement by Mike. I figured, well, screw this. You know, it wasn't working out. Mindy and Mike weren't being too critical as well. It's like, first place we look at, okay, fine, it's great, we'll take it. And I was thinking, no, it's not great, I don't want to live here. The bedrooms were smaller than the program room here, you know. It's ridiculous. And, so anyway, we moved in with Mike. Things weren't working out. I secretly made plans to move out, started looking for places. I informed Mindy of my plan and asked if she wanted in on it, if she wanted to move out with me. I figured, why don't we get a house of our own, you know, Mindy and I. So I thought it would be nice. And besides, we were kind of getting sick of living in apartments, and I've got so much stuff that I pretty well outgrew the apartment. It's like an apartment just was not big enough for all my things, you know. It's like we had shit everywhere in the apartment, and it was getting rather cluttered, so we figured, well, a house would probably be a good idea, because then, you know, we'll have room for all my stuff. So I made an appointment to see a townhouse, which seems to be the best bet because it's cheaper than a regular house, and the regular houses we were looking at that were within our price range, between the $500 and $600 range, really weren't that big, you know, and I wanted a fairly sizable place. So we made an appointment to see a townhouse. One appointment, that's all it took. We took a look at this townhouse, and it was absolutely perfect. It was nice big bedrooms, big kitchen, big basement, big living room, everything. It was huge for only $576 a month plus utilities. So we figured, okay, great. So we took it, and we've moved in. Mike found out that we were moving out. We were going to move out on the Monday. We stayed at Mike's for all of 7 days. That's all it took for us to be totally sick of each other. Oh, not only that, but Mike took the liberty of riding my bike all the time. First day we were there, as a matter of fact, he blew the rear inner tube on my bicycle. I wasn't too happy about that. It's a 15-speed mountain bike. Very nice, very expensive bike. My dad gave it to me because he didn't want it. He wanted to get a speed bike for himself, like a racing bike, 10-speed or 12-speed, one of them. And asked me if I wanted his mountain bike, and I said sure. I've always wanted a mountain bike, so now I got one. Anyway, I wasn't too happy about that. Mike replaced the inner tube with my money, and as if that wasn't bad enough, I had told him the day before we moved in that I did not want any of my video equipment to be in the living room, because Mike had said Mindy and I would have the bedroom all to ourselves. Okay, that would be our room for whatever. So I wanted all my video equipment, all my stereo equipment in the bedroom. Anyway, once again, first day, Mike went and blew the fuses in his amp. Mike likes to listen to heavy metal music at outrageous volumes. He had his 4 speakers wired into it, and consequently blew it. So, without asking, he went and hooked up my amp, like receiver, amplifier. And a few days later, he blew the fuses in that as well. He had my speakers hooked up to that, as well as his 4 speakers. So 6 speakers wired into one output, in addition to that being played at outrageously high volumes, and consequently blew that. The only thing left to go was my CD player, and I did not want him blowing that, so I removed the fuses from that and moved the CD player into, or the Laserdisc player, pardon me, moved that into the bedroom, and hid the fuses where he would never find them. Anyway, Mike found out about Mindy and me moving, our secret plan to move out on Monday, the Friday before we were going to move. He kicked us out, basically, that night. So we had to make an emergency move that night. We weren't allowed to move into the townhouse because it was having some renovations done. We couldn't move into the townhouse until Monday at least. So we moved all our stuff, thanks to Chris, a friend of mine. He got his grandfather's Oldsmobile, like a 1970-something Oldsmobile, an absolute ocean liner of a car, and we moved all our stuff out in 2 moves. We left some stuff there. We left our utensils there by accident, and I think we left our frying pan there as well. Nothing that can't be replaced, you know. My dad gave us another set of utensils and everything. So anyway, we moved everything to Mindy's mom's place and stayed there over the weekend. And over the course of the weekend and on Monday, we were moving our stuff into the townhouse. We got the okay to move some of our stuff in over the weekend, so we had all of it moved in by Monday. By the time Monday rolled around, we just had a few things left. Nothing really major. Oh yeah, one of the things Mike did that was sort of the last straw was, well, for one thing, he's by far an alcoholic. I mean, he drinks constantly. He's always drunk. Borrows money off his mom, tells her it's for food, then goes out and buys booze with it. You know, he does drugs as well. Not exactly a model person. Not the kind of person I'd like to live with. And didn't like living with. I didn't even like hearing about him or knowing that he existed. I hated him so much. I still do. And I'm glad to see that he's out of our life for good. Anyway, the last straw was one night he came home drunk. He hid the receiver for the phone. Like it was one of those multiple unit things, you know, where you have the cord, you can detach the cord and the receiver and everything. It's all plug-in phone jack connections. Anyway, he hid the receiver and the phone cord so we couldn't call anybody. And we were going to call Chris to see if he could help us move on Monday. We had several phone calls to make that night, actually, and we couldn't because he hid the receiver. He hid the receiver and passed out on the couch. Mindy shook him awake and asked him where the receiver was. He just looked at her and said, "Fuck you, bitch." Nice, eh? And Mindy wasn't too thrilled about that little comment. He had that kind of attitude throughout the whole time we were there, basically, towards Mindy. I just did not associate myself with him very much. I mostly just stayed in the bedroom and really just came out to eat. And anyway, so she asked him again, "Where's the receiver?" And he said, "I don't care." So she said, "Fine. That's it. We're moving on Monday." Didn't say that to him, said that to me. But, yeah, so then he just rolled over and passed out again. Anyway, that was the last straw. We definitely planned to move Monday. Previously, we were going to move out the next Friday, and then it was going to be Wednesday. And then because of that, we decided, fuck it, Monday. That was the earliest date we could move in, and that's when we were going to move in. And suffice it to say, we have moved in, and Mike is no more. Mindy has vowed never to see him again. She apologized repeatedly for putting me through so much hell. I mean, I was majorly depressed. I couldn't figure out what was wrong, you know. It's like I came back from my Toronto trip, and she was ignoring me and hanging around with this guy all the time, you know. It was really ticking me off. Anyway, we're in the townhouse now, and it is absolutely huge. There's still a lot of unpacking to do. If I get enough of it done tonight, I'll perhaps take you on a video tour. So that's basically why I haven't done any video letter entries for the last while. A, I haven't really felt up to it, and B, we've been kind of busy. One other thing Mike did was, it's a rental apartment, right? Well, I mean, most apartments are. His place is over top of a computer store, right? He went and ripped up his balcony and made a ramp from his balcony to the roof of the computer store. And then following that, he made stairs leading up from the main floor up to the balcony. Now, that's all fine and dandy if you own a place, but if you rent a place, this is without the permission of the landlord or the caretaker. If you rent a place, ripping it up so you can get onto a roof, I don't think is a very good idea, you know. Oh yeah, sometime during the course of the move, my camera vanished. So I'm currently using one of the office's cameras, and any video letter entries I do in the near future will be done with the office's cameras. I'm hoping that it just got packed and whoever packed it forgot they packed it. Like I said, there's still quite a few boxes to go through. So a lot of boxes with just a whole bunch of stuff just thrown in there. I'm hoping maybe it's in one of those. So we'll find out, but Mindy is pretty sure that it was stolen at some point, because when we were moving out of the apartment door was open, and while we were moving stuff to the elevator, anybody could have walked in there and taken it, you know. Sorry, I'm just getting over a bit of an illness. My nose has been running. Mike had a cat. I'm allergic to cats. He got rid of the cat. I swear, Mike's place was absolutely filthy. He had not taken out his garbage once since he moved in. Not us, not me and Mindy, but him. Not since he moved in. He'd been living there for several months, I believe. He got rid of his cat because he knew I was allergic to it, like the one nice thing he did. Thing is, he never got rid of the kitty litter. The kitty litter was under the sink in the bathroom, and like lumps of kitty poo all over it, you know? It was disgusting. I think I'll cut it short for now. Like I said, a lot's been happening. I felt you should know. And there's really no exciting way to tell you because I didn't film anything, like no footage of any of these events is available. And I wanted to get it all on tape before I forgot everything. I wanted to get it all before it was no longer fresh in my mind. Anyway, talk to you later, and enjoy the rest of the show. Adios.